Hey everybody. Okay, so this message is in regards to Dana. It seems that Dana is going through divorce, which just ultimately sucks no matter which way you look at it. And she's in the dating scene. A few pointers, and I'm going to actually have you agree to sign a disclaimer saying that you won't be offended by anything I say. I'm going to pretend that you just signed it. So, from a female perspective, I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. We've all gone through breakups. I personally have never gone through a divorce. I can only imagine how much worse it is than going through a breakup. Now, a little bit of background on me. I went through a really bad breakup about 2.5 years ago. This douche, who I called Douchey McDouche, was very emotionally and verbally abusive to me, telling me that I'm f***ed in the head for not wanting children, and who the f*** do you think you are, quote unquote, that you deserve a vacation. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of the crap that I went through, and that was actually yelled at me during the physical breakup of things. So what I did right after that, I put all of my emotions into running. I ran and I ran and I ran. And I ended up losing about 15 pounds in a couple of weeks. I went from running once a week to running 6 nights a week. And that's actually when I started going to the gym. So it all worked out. I turned the negative into a positive, and I worked on myself. Not that I'm fucked in the head or anything, because we all know that I'm pretty awesome. But I just worked on my mental health and my physical health, and look what you got now. Bucket full of awesome. Another thing that I did was I started hooking up with a booty call. Now, I only had one. There are some women that will go out and they will go out, date random people, and dating is great, but then they'll turn that into a booty call situation. I only had one. It was a guy that I had a flirtation with actually about 2 years prior to that, and I still had his number. So I called him up, and this was 3 weeks after the breakup, so I tried to give myself a little bit of time. It was actually very, very bad. Now, the sex part was fantastic, and no, I'm not going to tell anybody what my favorite position is. But what I will tell you is that some of us need that distraction. But very embarrassing moment happened where during the first time that I was with him, I broke down crying, and it was very, very bad. Thankfully, he's a great guy, and he is very compassionate. He could have just kicked my ass out the door and said, what a crazy little bitch. But he understood, and I told him that I had gone through a breakup only 3 weeks prior, and he was actually very good about it. Decent enough so that we actually continued our little tryst for a couple of months more. It actually worked out well, but I was only with him during that time. When I was 19, I've had a few more partners during a single time, but we all do things that we're not proud of. It was fun. I had a great time. They knew each other and I didn't know that. So you can only imagine the fun that ensued after they found out. I still laugh about it to this day because it was actually part of my growing and just all in all fun, really. But my advice to you, Dana, if you can take anything away from my stories here, is if you need to put a P in your V, make it only one person. We all have the tendency to seek out emotion, seek out physical attraction, seek out company. It's just human nature. But for the sake of your sanity, for the sake of your dignity, just keep it to one. Close your legs, and if you need to open them, one P in the V, only one. We're not 19 anymore, and yeah, it can be fun, but we need to start, acting like an adult and thinking like one. Not to mention, on the other side of the aspect there, you have the guy's view of you. So if you're going to just make it a random sexual partner or a booty call situation, they're not going to necessarily take you seriously. And you are, I'm guessing, in a vulnerable state right now. So just try to keep your wits about you. Try to keep the idea that it's a booty call and that this is not an emotional attachment, then you'll be fine. But you still want to keep your head high, and you don't want anybody looking at you like you're a little slut, to say the least. Try focusing your efforts into improving yourself. Go to yoga, go to the gym, start running, whatever you need to feel enlightened, to take that weight off your shoulder. Try doing a positive focus as opposed to a negative focus. The dude is gonna most likely envy you and regret his decision if you can pull yourself around and have a positive focus from this horrible thing that you're going through. So those are my suggestions. I know that it's very hard. I can't really give you any more guidance, but feel free to take some advice from my Google Plus followers. If anybody can offer Dana any sort of advice, what do you recommend that she do to help her out of this funk or to help her adjust and assimilate to a single life, please leave some comments of your own and let's help our fellow Google Plus people out. I hope this helped you out, Dana. Good luck.
Fun. And then at the end of the night, when I say, okay, I'm going to bed, like this is done, I'm like, I'll dream of you and touch myself. Just for fun.
So what are we going to start calling the vagina? Are we going to start doing grade 10 biology class and calling it a hoo-ha? Or front bum? Or your vajayjay? Like, really? Why don't we just start calling the penis a ween?
We need to replace the stress of school with the stress of coming in first and winning the Amazing Race Canada.
And I think I would be a great candidate for the Amazing Race Canada because I've been in the hospitality industry for 20